Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and it's always nice to have a bit of a green week when you got a cold, and it's been a particularly green week. Obviously up and down sort of a fair bit. I was sort of higher than here just a month or two ago, but yeah, nice to sort of get back here, up about 13.8% or just under 50,000. So it's very volatile at the moment. This seems to be sort of Trump mania, but yeah, it's the big coins as well. Sort of come back to coins for the week a little later on, but looking at the coin shares report, so this was fairly big. We sort of always know these in advance, but it's nice to see some of the other coins and other countries. So yeah, it was obviously mainly Bitcoin, but 72 million of Ethereum. It's quite nice. 17 million in the multi-asset. I do like to see this keep rising because I think that's, if we end up with a sort of S&P 500 of crypto and people sort of just allocate to that, then that would be sort of passive inflows. 4.4 million for Solana, not too bad. Short Bitcoin, down a bit. I guess people are sort of either taking profit or cutting their losses, presumably in the last week. Litecoin, a little inflow, XRP, a little inflow, and Cardano, and a few into the others. And by country, everyone is an inflow. This is sort of quite rare. I can't recall seeing this ever, pretty much. Small inflow into Brazil, as I always like. 24 million into Canada, 54 million into Hong Kong. So that's 14% of total assets under management. So whether this is sort of temporary or Hong Kong are starting to get quite excited, we don't know. But 400 million in assets under management, not too bad. Small inflows into Germany, Sweden, 57 million into Switzerland. It's not too bad, although they do have quite a lot already. But yeah, looking pretty good. Just looking at the more recent news, so we've had continued fairly solid inflows, a couple of days of double figures, but sort of sandwiched between 420 million and 383 million. We had some days of inflows into grayscale, which just seems balmy, really. I guess they're still. I'm not sure if they're buying sort of part of the original and part of the small one, or if that is happening yet. But you would think it'd just be going into Fidelity and BlackRock, maybe a little bit of ARK on the side. ARK did have a 117 million inflow. I call them the emotional investors, but yeah, good inflows. So I don't think this is getting as much publicity as you might think. The UK government actually holds 61,245 Bitcoin as part of seized as part of a money laundering case against a hospitality worker. Sort of, however, they ended up acquiring quite that much. It's crazy. But yeah, so people were sort of going over Germany selling and sort of whether it was good timing or appalling management. They sort of said it's government policy if something's that volatile that you have to just sell it all as soon as possible. It seems a little bit short-sighted, and maybe they could have made an exception. But yeah, I think that was about 50,000 Bitcoin. So this is 61,000, now $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. And obviously we have, with the Labour win, we have a new Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, and yeah, £4 billion or $4 billion may go quite far to paying for some bits and pieces. We don't really know. Obviously, Bitcoin, they're always saying they want to be a crypto hub of the world. They might consider, I can't imagine they're going to suddenly sort of say it's a strategic reserve asset or anything, but it's worth noting that the US government have had theirs for sort of years and years and still haven't sold. They sold a little bit off in auctions and have sort of sent a little bit to Coinbase, but they still hold, I believe, a couple of 100,000. So that's sort of pretty much 1% of Bitcoin supply. So we don't know, and there's been sort of no indication at the moment that the UK want to sell it, but worth keeping in mind. We've sort of obviously had a huge amount of turmoil over Germany selling 50,000, and we have 61. But speaking of selling, it doesn't seem to be happening too much so far from Mt. Gox. Apparently, 36% of the Bitcoin has been distributed to creditors. I still it seems a little bit hit and miss from different sources whether that's just been sent to exchanges or whether it's actually found its way into individual people's wallets. Obviously, the exchanges aren't going to sell it on people's behalf because it's being distributed in kind, so it's up to the owners whether they sell it or not. So could be a little bit premature saying it's been sent to exchanges and it hasn't all been dumped yet. Might not have actually been, it might take a little bit of time to distribute out to everyone. But yeah, certainly 36% of it is out of the Mt. Gox wallets now. There's been polls on Reddit and that sort of thing saying 60% of people say they're going to keep the whole lot, and another percentage say they might sell a quarter of it. But yeah, this is polls on Reddit. They all might have owned 1 Bitcoin each, and then there's a whale that isn't in the poll with 10,000 Bitcoin. We don't know, but yeah, be interesting to see how this continues, and whether we do get between them and the UK government could still be potential for another sell-off. This one seemed a little bit crazy, and I think people are making maybe a little bit too much of it. But there was a dinner from it, from the looks of it, with lots and lots of CEOs and bank officials and Mr. Trump. And yeah, he was asked about potential Treasury Secretary, and he said he was open to various people. Somebody asked him about Jamie Dimon, and he said Jamie Dimon has changed his tune on crypto, and he would consider him. But it's not as if Trump came out and said, I'm looking to have Jamie Dimon as Treasury Secretary. But it would be an interesting move from CEO of JP Morgan to Treasury Secretary. But yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that just yet. And this seems a bit of a shame. My go-to place for research, Messari, the CEO, Ryan Selkis, has stepped down, resigned as CEO. He was told to cool it by crypto startups leadership. He's been tweeting all sorts of stuff, anti-immigration stuff, and a lot of stuff about the election, saying anybody who doesn't vote Trump needs to die. I'm not sure why you would go that extreme, or why you would put that on Twitter if you know you have a large following. But yeah, it's whether this alone has led to him resigning, or whether he wanted to, resign anyway. We don't know. But yeah, seems a little bit of a shame. Hopefully, Messari can just carry on as normal, without him. I'm guessing if he was a CEO, he's not really involved in the day-to-day writing of the reports. So yeah, it's a little bit odd. Maybe tars my liking Messari a little bit. So we'll move straight on to coins for the week. So Bitcoin is 12% up. It's doing rather well. Solana is outperforming, 19% up. Very nice. Ethereum is underperforming slightly, 9.8%. Chainlink, 7.6%. XRP, 12.9%. I am watching that, noticing it's back up to 60 billion fully diluted market cap. So it's potentially on the sell pile if we go too much higher, because I can't see that doing what I can see the options doing. So yeah, potentially. Power Ledger, 22% up. That's done pretty well. Performer for the week. Audius, 15%. Internet Computer, 15.7%. Gala, 18%. Some of these altcoins doing reasonably well. Polygon isn't, 1.5%, even though Polymarket, which I believe is entirely on Polygon, is smashing it with the election and all sorts. People using it a lot, but no love for Polygon. Quant, 5% up. Basic Attention Token, 8%. And VeChain, 6%. So, yeah, interesting. Some of the the big token's doing well and some altcoins doing well, but a bit of a mixed bag. Nothing red, so all good. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hope you shake the cold by next week, and like and subscribe. See you soon.